A bizarre knock on the door at 5:30 a.m. Tuesday morning in Cyprus. One many people didn't answer, some out of fright, but one woman did.
Before we get into today's video, I did want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance, and hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend and I hope everybody is doing good. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about a viral situation that was going all around Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, just about anywhere that you could think of. And it takes place in a very rich, in my opinion, well-to-do neighborhood. Now, I'm going to give you guys some expressions, and please know that these are filtered through me, my life experiences. I'm going to tell you guys this story, what we know so far, the best of my ability, using public information that's already out there at this point in time. And then at the end, I'm going to give you my opinion and stuff like that. Before I tell you this story though, if you guys don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. Over there, we do things more casually, more laid back, more personal vibe. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon is for 18 and up. Over there, we do more personal story times. We go live over there. And we also have a $2 tier where we do all the true crime stuff that cannot go on YouTube due to their terms and policies. That's on Patreon. And the link for that is down below, along with my Facebook and my Instagram and my Snapchat. If you guys want to come and check me out on those other platforms, that's how you find me. In order to tell this story, I really want to set the tone of where this happened. And the reason why I like to do that is because I always put myself, when I'm researching these cases, or even if I just see a commercial, news clip of something, or if I'm watching a movie, I put myself in that person's shoes and try to see things through their eyes. So when I saw this house right here and found out that there was a family, a mother and a boyfriend slash stepfather guy or dad-ish, we don't know all the details just yet, and 8 children living in this 3,200 square foot beautiful home in Texas. I thought, wow. I started looking through the photos of the inside of the home, like the winding staircase going up and the chandeliers and the big giant open kitchen with the living room, and just imagining the kids sitting around doing Christmas in there. And then when you see what this housing community has for children, they have a splash pad. They have this awesome lazy river where you can see 8 children just floating on top of the donut style floaties, floating around there, laughing, smiling, splashing water in each other's eyes, and just really living the dream, right? You're thinking through kids' eyes like, this is amazing. However, like we've said before over here, not all that glitters is gold. And the things that were going on in this big, beautiful home are nothing like I just described. At the end of September of this year, 2022, 40-year-old Zaikiya Duncan and 27-year-old Jova Terrell and Zaikiya's 8 children moved into this beautiful upscale home in Cypress, Texas. They moved from Baton Rouge, and anybody from the outside looking in would have been super happy for this big family. Now, Zaikiya allegedly has 8 children, but she had 7 that moved in the home with her, including a pair of 15-year-old twins, a boy and a girl. Now, an intriguing fact about this couple here is that it was $4,200 a month rent. Yeah, just for rent, $4,200 a month rent, but there is no record of Zaikiya having a job. And then her boyfriend was an inspiring rapper, but no record of like money coming in from a substantial source. So I don't even know how they got approved for this house, but nevertheless, they moved in with the 7 children. Now, Zaikiya was actually convicted in 2019 in Louisiana for cruelty to a juvenile by child desertion. And in 2012, Zaikiya was arrested in Baton Rouge on a charge of cruelty to juveniles after one of her little ones, who was 5 at the time, was taken to a school clinic with burn injuries consistent with being submerged in hot water. It hasn't been confirmed, but it is assumed that the 5-year-old child was one of the twins. Now, at this time, her children were taken from her. However, Zaikiya was able to regain custody, and once she did, her 7 children and her boyfriend moved to Texas. If you would have seen Zaikiya's TikTok or her Facebook, it looked like everything was peachy keen. And man, oh man, is this not a pattern that we see over and over again? If you need a reminder not to compare yourself to other people's social media platforms, this is your reminder. From the outside looking in, Zaikiya's life looked wonderful. You would see pictures of her with some of her children at the pool or at the beach, or the TikTok doing dances and dancing together where the kids seem happy. But behind the scenes, there was allegedly a house of horrors going on. In the early morning hours of Tuesday, October 18th, the boy and girl twins were seen on neighbor security cameras going door to door asking for help. Mind you, this is just 2 weeks after they moved into this big, giant 4,200 square foot home. 2 weeks. That's it. The sun hadn't even come up yet in some of this doorbell footage. The kids would go up and ring the doorbell looking half dressed, very thin and frail, shaking at some points. And when they would ring the doorbell and the person who was in the home would speak to them through the doorbell, they would ask them basically, hey, what do you want? The kids would say, hey, we need to come in. We need help. And house after house, these people turned these 2 children away. And we're going to get to that at the end. So just stay with me before you make your judgments too quick on that. Hindsight is always 20/20. So these 2 kids come ringing doorbells. Then at around 5:30 a.m. on that Tuesday, the twins, barefoot and shivering, rang the doorbell of a woman who was a single mom there at home with just her and her child. She said that the boy had no shirt on despite the cold weather, and they were both so hungry and very skinny.
This woman, who wants to remain anonymous for safety reasons, invited them in.
They were saying that they had just gotten here from Baton Rouge, I think they said. That they just moved here and that their mom didn't disclose the address to them, and so they didn't know where they lived.
The woman who saw them on the camera and heard them say they needed help opened the door, pulled them inside, shut the door, and locked it behind them. She asked them, what's going on? Like, are you guys okay? And she said that the little boy was saying, we're so hungry. We're so hungry. And then the little girl was basically saying, like, we have our cuffs. We can't be found here. We need to be here. The woman who let them in just reacted. She took them into the kitchen, started giving them food, put clothing over them and blankets over them so they could be warm, and began to talk to them. When she looked down at these 2 babies, okay, who from what I seen did not look 15 years old. They were so malnourished and so skinny. They had deep indentions around their wrist from being tied up or handcuffs or all the different things that they had been used against them by their mother. The woman who let these babies in her house said that they were so skinny and so frail, they looked like they had just been through a lot. They told me that their mom had kept them locked in the laundry room, naked, zip-tied from the ankles, and handcuffed from the wrist. The children told this woman that they would only feed them a sandwich if they had been quiet all day long. But if they made a noise, they weren't getting any food, and that at that time that they were sitting in that lady's house, they hadn't eaten since the previous Monday, which was over a week at this point. As the lady continued to talk to them, she realized that these babies were being held hostage by their own mother, and they had wanted to escape for a long time, but they were handcuffed. They were handcuffed in the laundry room. But this particular day, one of the twins ended up being able to get the handcuff keys out of their mother's purse, and they kept the handcuff key in their mouth until it was time for them to escape, where they were able to get it out and get the handcuffs off and get out of the house this late night, early morning. Can you imagine how scared they were to get caught, or, not knowing what was going to happen when they knocked on doors? It took some serious life or death bravery for these babies to do this. The lady who welcomed the twins into her home called the Harris County Sheriff's Department, and they came right over. They began to interview the children, and they knew that this was a big issue. The authorities transported the children to a Houston hospital where they were found to be severely malnourished with arm lacerations consistent with being handcuffed. There were other injuries, including blisters, swollen wrists and hands, and an x-ray exam showed older eye and arm fractures. When the investigators arrived at the house where Zaikiya, the children, and her boyfriend lived at, none of them were anywhere to be found. The cops knocked on the windows, they got into the door, and nobody was home. They were already gone. So an Amber Alert was issued for the 5 other children, and Zaikiya was found a few hours later over 200 miles away in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and was immediately arrested. Her boyfriend was also arrested on an assault charge after one of the children told the police that he had punched and struck them multiple times. Zaikiya was extradited back to Texas and is being held currently on a $4.5 million bond. All 7 of the children, including the twins, are now in Child Protective Services. And I saw conflicting things. I did see one news reporting a couple days ago that said that the twins were still in the hospital, which would make sense, but then I also read that they were in Child Protective Services. So I don't know if they've been released or if they're considering that to be part of it. But nevertheless, they ain't with the people who did this to them anymore. When the investigators talked to the children told the investigators that their mom did not feed any of them regularly, and if they did anything wrong, that they would beat them with an extension cord. These kids were terrified of their mother, like terrified of her. Some of the things were just too horrendous. I mean, I remember growing up and, I got my butt beat and I got and I got all of the above, okay, and whatever. But it was a running joke growing up. Oh, my grandma made me go and pick a switch. Definitely not approving any of that stuff. And I'm just saying, some of us from an older generation, some of these things seemed like normal, right? However, these children had so much done to them. Some of the kids even said that their mother would make them drink bleach. And the twins went on to say that they would use the bathroom on themselves and that their mother would make them eat each other's feces and drink each other's bodily fluids. What kind of demon do you have to be? Like, none of it is okay. So trust me, but when you have to be oh my gosh. Ooh. And another thing that they said that she did, it is said that she would make all the kids take like these enormous amounts of Benadryl, and one of the twins was made to take 24 Benadryl tablets one day. It was so much that he fell out and started having seizures, and so the next time his mother only allegedly made him take 20 Benadryl tablets. Now, I have to say this for legal reasons that all of this is alleged and she is innocent until proven guilty, but my opinion is that these babies ain't lying. Now, some of my thoughts, other than the fact that if she is guilty, I know what they do in the Florida prison systems to people that abuse children. And I've told you guys this story in my older videos, like the one lady who hung the children up and pulled their toenails off with pliers, and they were foster kids and had the windows blacked out. The neighbors didn't even know that this church couple at that had children. When this woman got to the prison that I was at, it was in the news everywhere. So they had to put her in protective custody. And in our protective custodies here in Florida, it ain't nothing but solitary confinement. You're by yourself in a room. But this woman wasn't safe in there because the guards ended up beating her too. Now, I know we cannot condone that type of thing, but I'm just letting y'all know what happened. They weren't feeding her. They were giving her air trays. If you guys don't know what air trays are, in a cell that is a confinement cell, there's a little flap that folds down that they put your food through, where they were putting empty food trays through. They were getting with her too. I mean, you have to understand too, when you're in prison, some of these women, have lost their children, something happened to them, all different types of trauma. And then you have somebody come in like this person, if the word gets out, it's not good. It's never good. I do hope and pray that these babies make a full healing, a mental healing, a comeback. I know that it's possible. This is just some of my personal opinion stuff. If you guys know my story, my childhood, you guys know I've had a lot of these similar things happen, and I know that they can, and I hope and pray that they do. But some of the questions I do have, where's the father at? Now, I went nosying through Facebook, looking on her personal Facebook, and I saw some comments. I don't know if this is true because it's just comments, and sometimes comment sections is right and sometimes it's not. But there were comments saying that these twins' fathers is a pastor, but that also he abused them too. And it's got his name on there, but I don't know if it's true. Could just be rumor. Somebody could have made it up. It could be true. I don't know. But I do have questions to where the fathers are. And then I also have questions of like, did nobody else in the family see anything? I mean, does nobody check up? I mean, I guess if they're looking online and they're only seeing her with 5 kids, maybe they think the older teenagers are like doing their own thing because teenagers can do that. I don't know. I just have questions. And then I would also love to know what all Zaikiya had to do to get her kids back, because it seems like the things that she was charged with before were not little simple things. It seemed pretty bad. Like, did she really do things to earn her kids back, or did they just give them back to her? Like, I don't know. But thankfully, these babies did get away. They were brave enough to figure out a way, work together, and thankfully, this woman opened the door. Oh, and the other thing that I was going to tell you the beginning of the video where I was saying don't judge the people that didn't open the doors. There's so many like scam things that go on nowadays where you have like a woman on the side of the road saying her tire, oh, an old lady, and then you have a group of people that jump out behind her. So it's like there's so much scammy nastiness that goes on, which should be another reason why nobody should do any of those things, that I can understand why some of these people were hesitant to open the doors. Just thank God that these babies did not turn around and go back home because they were just too scared that nobody would help them. Thankfully, this woman did help them, and I really hope that they are put in good homes where people will love them and help them to develop healthy thinking patterns and breaking those cycles and just be great humans. So, what do you guys think? Have y'all heard about this? I mean, it just makes you think how many other houses, we hear these stories all the time. You know, how many other houses right now in your neighborhood has something going on inside that you have no idea about? It's wild. Let me know what you guys think down below. And if you are a prayer warrior and you want to throw some extra prayers at these babies, they need it. Love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Love you guys. Thank you. Bye.